Hello, denizens. Former network executive reaction to episode 6 of The Last of Us. Warning, there will be spoilers. Overall, this was a fine next episode that did not interrupt my interest in the series. I did see some comments where the reviewers announced that this was it, the end. They couldn't stand the politics in the show anymore, and it wasn't worth continuing. Once again, I'm looking at this show as a former network exec, but I have to admit that on a personal level, I'm still enjoying it, mainly because of the relationship between Joel and Ellie. I apologize to anyone out there who assumed I would heap relentless hate on this show. In my last review, I postulated that there could be several years worth of on-the-road adventures with these two, like David Carradine's Kung Fu, going from town to town. But it actually looks like they are compressing it. So the story from Game 1 fits into Season 1. Some of us, at least, know what happens to Joel in Game 2. If I was an HBO exec, I would not be particularly happy with what will be coming. But then again, perhaps they only had Pedro Pascal available for 1 year. His star is rising rapidly, and maybe his agent said, 1 year, that's all we're giving you. If HBO is going to move ahead with Game 2's storyline, is their plan to just make this a 2-season run? Or is the plan to extend the sequel? This is an expensive show, as there are no standing sets like in Game of Thrones. Each location they go to is new, like this town in Wyoming. Maybe 2 seasons was all HBO was planning on doing. Who knows? But they are certainly setting Joel up in this episode to have a limited run. He's clutching his chest a lot. And the exchange with his brother Tom, played by Gabriel Luna, where Joel tries to convince Tom to take Ellie to the final Firefly lab location, was probably the worst scene so far in the entire series. It was painfully, brutally, unrealistically, against character, bad. It was the first time the show really pissed me off. Why did they have to turn Joel into this weepy mess? They could have kept all the lines the same and just had him deliver them in the usual stoic Joel way. So far, character subtext has been kept boiling under the surface, so to have it explode like they did here did not seem authentic. But I'll bet all of you out there thought that when Tom Squeeze, played by Retina Welsley, mentioned that they were living in a communist commune, that would have set me off. No. But it did stick out like a sore thumb, as the writing has been very strong, integrated, and motivated. This felt like Neil and Craig were hailing a cab. But think about it. All it took was the end of the world, a fungus infection turning people into zombies, and only a few tiny pockets of humanity descending into tribalism to finally make communism work. I've read a lot of comments on how many of you were pissed off about that. I did notice that Tom rolled his eyes when his pregnant girlfriend proudly mentioned it. Happy wife, happy life, I always say. The cinematography was stunning. The snowy backgrounds, picturesque. I really enjoyed the opening exchange between the First Nations couple in the cabin in the woods that a gun-toting Joel was threatening. Marlon, played by my friend Graham Greene, and Florence, played by Elaine Miles, were totally charming. Neither got upset at seeing Joel directing a gun at them. Quickly, they built some trust and pointed Joel and Ellie in the right direction. Note to HBO, Marlon and Florence need their own show. They were so funny. As I mentioned in my previous review, so far they are holding to the standard modus operandi of classic network TV by returning to equilibrium at the end of each episode, which they did briefly before Joel got got badly injured in a fight, and we were left with a bit of a cliffhanger. If I were a betting man, I would lay odds that HBO does not want a future character named, Abby to beat Joel to death with, let's say, a golf club. More than likely, he's going to die in some final heroic effort, and this is all a setup for that. I'm just guessing. Till next time, denizens, be seeing you.